Okay, I have to give my permission. Hi. So during COVID, the beginning of COVID, I started working. I'm a wire worker. I work with copper. I started doing this, and um, it's beads and copper wire. It's my tree of life. Um, and what Tu B'Shvat reminds me of, I always ask, why are we doing this in the middle of winter? It's warmer here outside of Portland, but in Maryland it's pretty cold. But I we used to donate money every year when the kids were little, and when I was little, and even to this day, to plant trees in Israel. And our temple in Maryland at one point gave us trees to uh, plant around the neighborhood and also in our yards. And so we did that. And That's why we have Tu B'Shvat in the winters, because it's warm in Israel. Where you plant trees in Maryland in the summer or spring, depends on the type of tree too, and how big it is. But Tu B'Shvat to me always brings back the memories of uh, um, warmer times to come.
That's
And
beautiful. What's the material made out of?
this is copper,
Can you
and
hold it up really close to the camera?
trying. Okay, I gotta just
Yeah,
try to focus. It's made of copper and beads. Um,
that's beautiful.
is that focusing? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
copper and beads, and it's and they're little roots, and I hang it on my wall. One of my walls is yellow, and it looks really good. And it's sort of like I started it in the fall of 2020, I think. I'm not even sure. And I just would sit downstairs and do it during COVID, and it's my tree of life, my COVID tree of life.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we're going to have Zamira is going to do what Zamira wants to do.
All right. I wanted to share a song by Rabbi Sheffa Gold, but before that, I want to just say thanks to, oh, I already lost the name from my brain, Jesse, talking about Tu B'Shvat being warm in Israel. I like to think about Tu B'Shvat here when it's still really cold out as just the sap starting to just move really slowly, and it's like the promise of spring to me. It's like uh, the sap is just starting to rise. We don't see any outward changes yet, but things are in motion already. That's what I like to think about for the timing. I'm going to put the words to the chat in here so you can all sing along while you're muted.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
O Zaru ala tzadik, ul yishre lev simcha. O Zaru ala tzadik, Yishre lev simcha. Plant the seeds of joy and light, tend them carefully day and night. In this soil so dark and deep, I plant the dreams that love will reap. O Zarua la tzadik, Yishre lev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik, Yishre lev simcha. Plant the seeds of joy and light, tend them carefully day and night. In this soil so dark and deep, I plant the dreams that love will reap.
Beautiful. That was really wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And anything else you want to say about Tu B'Shvat?
I did not look at what was in the My Jewish Learning that you linked, so I'm not sure what people already know, but
Hmm.
there's a mystical tradition around Tu B'Shvat. It's not just planting trees in Israel, but in Kabbalah, there's this concept of four worlds. There's the physical world, and the emotional world, and the intellectual world, and the spiritual world. And so the Kabbalists mapped those four worlds to different kinds of fruit. And there's a Tu B'Shvat Seder, which goes through all these things in order. And for the physical world, it's talking about, you eat fruits that have a hard, inedible outside, but you can eat the inside, like an orange
Hmm.
or a nut, something that you discard the outside, but the edible parts inside. And that's associated with the physical world. And I'm drawing a blank on why, but the next one up is fruits that you can eat the outside, but not the center part, like a cherry or an apricot or any stone fruit, plums, like that, or an olive. Olives are fruit too. And then the next higher up one in the Bria is a fruit you can eat the whole thing, like a grape or like an apple if you don't chew on the seeds, I suppose. And then the highest world, the spiritual world, is not associated with any fruit at all because it's kind of beyond the beyond. And I like to use a scent, like I like to smell some cinnamon or whatever you have in your Havdalah spice box or a tea bag or something, some kind of fragrant spices. And also in the Tu B'Shvat Seder, they have four glasses of wine, like in a Passover Seder, also mapped to the four worlds. And so for the first one, you have white wine or grape juice with just a little drop of red wine or red grape juice. And then for the next higher up world, you have kind of maybe 2/3 white and 1/3 red. And then for the next higher up, you have 2/3 red and 1/3 white. And then the highest up one is pure red with just a little drop of white. And it's really kind of cool to go through with a Passover Seder and bless the wine and the fruit at these different stages and talk about these different stages of the soul, these different stages of being. All right.
Well, I think you did read.
I didn't read it. I'm sorry if that was repetition. I was
No,
trying
no,
to not
no,
repeat.
no, no. They actually just lightly reference the mystical side of things. So I'm really glad you said what you did. I
Okay.
want to pause the recording for a moment. And
Thank you. Great. Nice to see you all. I just wanted to share a sweet couple of songs that my mom showed me that were really popular and fun in Israel. And they've been around for a little while, these songs. So I just have two. A lot of the songs talk about the almond trees blooming, the beautiful almond trees in the spring, and celebrating that. So we'll start with that one. Let's see. I'll try to do the screen share thing. Oh, if that's possible, I haven't been able, or I could send you a link to share it because it says
I,
disabled.
try again, Michelle.
just
Okay.
hold on. Oh,
So, oh, okay. Great. Perfect. And then you can see my spring cleaning desktop. And here we go. Tu B'Shvat song number 1. Okay. שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים,
dance party.
שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים.
שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, פרפרים עפים, מסביב לשקדיה, יחד מברכים, שקדיה יפהפייה, פרפרים עפים, מסביב לשקדיה, יחד מברכים, שקדיה יפהפייה. שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, ציפורים עפות, מסביב לשקדיה, מצייצות ברכה, שיהיה לך חג נפלא, ציפורים עפות, מסביב לשקדיה, מצייצות ברכה, שיהיה לך חג נפלא. שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, גם דבורה קטנה, חברות היא מזמינה, בואו חברות, נזמזם ברכות, גם דבורה קטנה, חברות היא מזמינה, בואו חברות, נזמזם ברכות, שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים, שקדיה יפה, מלאת פרחים, שקדיה יפה, מזמינה אורחים.
Yay!
Beautiful, everybody. Great dancing. That's awesome. Let's see if I can figure out how to move this out and give you one more little micro dance number. I saw some beautiful flowers and beautiful dancing while we were going. That looked great. So this one is Tu B'Shvat Higia, it's coming. And this one, I'm learning this one. But this is such a cute video. Here we go. One more micro dance party.
השקדיה פורחת ושמש פזורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות, ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות. הארץ משוועת, הגיע עת לטעת, כל אחד ייקח לו עץ, בעצים נצא חוצץ. ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות, ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות. השקדיה פורחת ושמש פזורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות, ט"ו בשבט הגיע חג לאילנות.
All right, great. Thanks so much for coming on that little journey with us. And I'm just gonna play a song or two, and I'll start you with a waltz that I wrote. That's just very much a nature-based song that I kind of had the idea of the originating motif, and then I found similar songs in different traditions, like a South American version that had something to do with the ocean, a Yiddish version, and this is the Santa Cruz version that I wrote. There's also a um, Finnish waltz that starts the same few notes. The first, and then it could go anywhere. So here we go. We're gonna do this Sailing Breeze waltz dedicated to healing, and to my dad who likes the song, and to our wonderful families, and celebrating the coming of spring through all the darkness and the light and ups and the downs of our times. So, Sailing Breeze Waltz. All right. Thanks so much. And yeah, it's a pleasure. I have it recorded on Bandcamp. If you put my name, you can stream it and listen for free if you like. And I have all my albums there if you want to listen more. Um, and I don't know if we want to move on or if you want one more song. I'm open.
Oh yeah, Michelle, if you'd like to do another, that would be wonderful.
Okay, great. So this one is there's too many good songs to choose from, but a song that is from the lyrics of Shir HaShirim, or the Song of Songs, the Song of Solomon. This song is called Et Dodim Kala. It's like, come into the garden, the pomegranate trees are blossoming, and let's kind of celebrate with the beloved. So feels like a nice springtime feeling.
Everybody unmute. Unmute. Tell her what you love.
Yay!
That is so wonderful.
Yay!
Wonderful. Wonderful.
That was just great.
Beautiful.
Well done.
Wonderful. Thank
What a
you.
pleasure.
Great
Pleasure
to
to
see you,
hear.
Michelle. Yeah.
That's a little bit of Zoom etiquette. When a performer finishes, unmute generally and wish them well and love them up.
It's great to hear you and see you all. Thank you for sharing, and thanks, Albert, for hosting.
You're welcome, Michelle. That was lovely. And if someone would like to post Michelle's Bandcamp information in the chat, that would be great support of her. Next up, we have the surprisingly far away and yet so close, Rob Tobias. Welcome, Rob.
Oh, unmute. Yes.
You're all set to go.
I'm not that far away. Eugene is just down the road. But it's nice to be able to zoom in with you all. And I'll share a song or two. I landed in Oregon many moons ago, and I was just thinking, it was in December, and then by January I had planted my first tree. My friends were Hodads, part of this 250 person collective that were tree planting back in the late 70s. And so I got my thousands of trees put in the ground, and got in some kind of shape doing it. So that kind of related to this. This song I'm going to share with you, it's a parable. It's a little story song. And it kind of relates to my experience. I kind of put some chords to this story that I got hold of and formed it into how a story can become a song. And yeah. Try to get in tune. I thought I was in tune, but I think I need new strings. Anyway, I hope you can hang with me. I'll tell you this story. There once was a man who took a seed from a tiny tree and he planted it in the ground. Well, a stranger came by and he saw him working. He said, you know, that tree will never grow. The soil here is just too rough. But the man said the seed is strong. Another man came by and he said, other trees have been planted here. They've all died. They all died. But I'll water the tree, the man replied. When it's young and tender, I'll cover it and protect it from the cold. So the strangers went away and the years passed and slowly the roots took hold. The roots took hold. At first the tree grew quickly, but then one bitter night a cold descended upon the land and the winds blew. And in spite of all the man's efforts, that little tree was damaged. And the man wept. He wept for fear that the tree would not survive. So on and on he labored with great effort to support the tree. He not knowing if it would be enough. And another winter passed, and one day the man noticed a new strength in the tree. And there were signs it was about to bloom. Bloom it did. The leaves sprouted, hanging gracefully from its limbs, and it stood firm against the wind. In grateful joy, the man sat down under the tree, and he listened to the music made by the wind blowing through the branches. And he marveled at the protection the tree gave him from the heat of the sun. How glad I am I found that seed and planted it and tended to it. And at that moment, one of the strangers who had scoffed at the man's endeavors happened by and said, "I remember when this tree was planted. You know, I never thought it would survive." He said, "If the man who planted that tree were here today, I'd tell him how wrong I was." "I am that man," said the man who planted that tree. And as he rose up from the tree and approached the stranger, "You the stranger?" said. Looking him up and down, he said, "You're nothing like that man that planted the tree. Your body is thick and strong, and your skin is tanned and tough from the wind and sun, and the way you walk with such confidence and grace. Yes," said the man who'd planted the tree, "all the time I've been tending that tree, the tree's been tending to me." The tree has been tending to me.
Woo! Beautiful.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
My gosh.
Wonderful.
Story. Nice story.
Thank
Well,
you.
It always gets to me, that line, because it's so true. You know, well, a lot of things about that are true. But the idea of not knowing sometimes what that you're taking care of something, and in a way, it's taking care of you as well. And we have this reciprocal relationship with the trees that way too, with oxygen, carbon dioxide, and yeah, it's a very reciprocal arrangement. Anything else about the story? You stayed with me on it? I mean, I guess it's not too complex. It's just that he was
I was glad a deer
transformed.
didn't bite it. I said I was glad a deer or some animal didn't chew on the top of it.
Yeah, I know. We used to have to do that. Tree planting is make little tubes sometimes to go over the trees to protect it. Can I do one more short one? Is that all right?
As long as you're, yes, of course.
What were we gonna say?
Oh, I was going to make a joke because I'm a Jewish guy.
Oh yeah.
Michelle wanted to know if you just wrote that story, and she also said it was wonderfully delivered.
Oh, thank you. A friend of mine named Royce Jones discovered it. He used to live here and he moved back east. He discovered it. It's something he wrote a long time ago. And he thought of me because I had put some other of his words to music. And so he passed it on to me with the direction of, can you put some music to this, to this story. So, and you can find it maybe a little better version, a different version, I'll just say, at soundcloud.com/Rob Tobias. Maybe this one's there too, I don't know. I wrote this song is another one for the trees. It's just a Tree of Life song. And I've done it as a dance, kind of a universal dance, a piece. It works well, circle dance. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Etz Chaim, tree of life, Etz Chaim, Etz Chaim, tree of life, Etz Chaim. What the tree breathes in, I breathe out. What I breathe out, the tree breathes in. Etz Chaim, tree of life, Etz Chaim. Etz Chaim, tree of life, Etz Chaim. And I reach, and I turn, I teach, and I learn. I'm reaching for the highest branch I see. Yes, I reach, and I turn, I teach, and I learn. Reaching for branches of that tree. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Etz Chaim, the tree of life, Etz Chaim, Etz Chaim, tree of life, Etz Chaim.
Wonderful.
Tree of life.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and for celebrating the trees today.
Were the words that weren't in English in Hebrew?
Yeah, Etz Chaim, the tree of life.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to have some more things happening in a moment, but
Oh,
I thought maybe you were outside with the tree behind you. It's a beautiful
Oh.
backdrop.
actually, I was outside. But that is a picture that I made during a full moon, maybe last March or February of last year. And then I put it up on Zoom, and now it just comes up most of the time, most of the Zooms.
Very
Yeah.
good. Thank you. It's gorgeous. Are
It was a
you,
full moon. Yep.
are you a photographer?
An aspiring one, I should say. I have just hundreds of photos. I love doing photographs, and I would like to put them up on a website and make a little income from it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, that's kind of a perfect segue to what I have in mind to do next. So hang tight. And feel free to put your, if you do have any website or anything, feel free to list it here if you'd
Great.
like.
Well, I'm looking at it. I should be reading one I saved. It's called Art Storefronts, probably.com. And I want to look in that. That's supposed to be for artists. Maybe that one would be a good one.
Okay, sounds good. Well, um, I'm going to take the prerogative to show you all a little bit of what I have been up to lately. And before we go to Ben Bachner, so for the last while, I started this group called We Keep Trees Standing in Portland and beyond, and it's a group now. We've got about 600 people, and lately I've been working on a issue where we have this tree. It is a Magnolia grandiflora, and it's located at 48th and Belmont. And it is, as you can kind of guess maybe from the images here, this single family home is being deconstructed. I think it's actually gone. And then this pretty big lot is going to turn into something else. And I'll show you what is going on there with the little video. It's very short, and hopefully I can get to it quickly. And if not, it'll take me forever. We'll see. Let's see, not that one. Anyway, this group is a great. This is actually some people came out, and this is the tree in question. They put up a ribbon, and then they put up this really beautiful poem. And so here's our event. I don't know. I think John's the only person from our group, maybe Ruth also, who came out. This is also a picture of the same tree from below. Here we go. So that's another picture of the tree. That's some brush next to it. This was the house that was standing next to the tree. That's gone, which is too bad. This is the tree, and sorry, I thought the video was there, but it'll be here shortly. Here we go. This is just gives you an idea of what. This is a beautiful magnolia tree, and this property looks like they're taking out this house to make something that looks like this. Bit of just awfulness. And so that's what you get. Instead of this gorgeous tree, this beautiful old house, you get some modern looking crap. Anyway, even if we get the modern looking crap, maybe we can save this gorgeous tree. It's right on the corner of the property. That's what I would suggest. Happy Monday. And Belmont, and this is a beautiful magnolia tree. Thanks for watching that. So if you're in the mood to try to protect this tree, there are 2 actions to take, and I'll put them in the chat. We currently think that there's a chance that we can maybe make the street on 48th be a one-way street, and then we would also have to talk the property owner into leaving some space for the tree. So it's a little bit of a long shot, but I just wanted to show you that there's a group of us who are focusing on tree issues in Portland and beyond. And John is a member of the group, and I am as well. It's interesting. We've had some success in saving some trees, and we've had some losses as well. But I think it's been really worth it, and it keeps growing. And we have a newsletter as well, and so we'll see where we get to. Let's see. Jesse, you had asked if you could share something, and that would be great. So you are on.
Hi. Again, I just want to say, for a while, way back in my youth, I don't remember when, post college, I worked for the Wilderness Society, and then later on in my life, and I've always considered myself an environmentalist. Later on in my life, I lived on some land, and we had 4.5 acres. We didn't know what to do with it. Forest Service in Maryland decided that they were going to offer to plant trees at no cost. So we said, okay, fine. I don't remember if we gave them 2.5 or 3 acres, and I believe they planted 200 trees per acre. They were small trees, they were babies. And so we either, I can't remember how many we planted, but there were a lot of trees planted. They did it for us. And yes, they had the little sleeves on them. And they were, the people that bought my house there after I sold it, um, one of the things that I made sure before we sold it was that they would keep the trees, and they were very pro keeping the trees. The land was protected by, I can't remember what it was called, but we were right next to the reservoir there, and so the land was protected, and we were trying to rewood basically because you couldn't subdivide it. It was turned into farmland at one point and plowed under, and we were going through a stage where it's like, okay, let's get some more air here. So that's what we did. And I was really proud of myself. I contacted and talked to the people, and they were wonderful. A lot of the trees are surviving quite well. They planted a whole bunch of different types.
Nice. Where is the land?
In Reisterstown, Maryland. It's in
Oh,
northwest Baltimore County, out in the country near
fantastic.
the
That's
port.
that's a
Yeah,
great story.
yeah. And I
All
love
right.
the trees.
Next up, and there's all sorts of the organizations that we're donating to tonight are all groups to look into in terms of participating. Like if you like to plant trees, Friends of Trees plants trees every weekend from October to March, I believe. So they're planting trees this coming weekend in Lentz, and it's a really nice way to meet people. You go out together. There's small groups of people that get maybe 8 trees, and you're maybe attached to a pickup truck, and you walk around the neighborhood and you get to know the neighborhoods. And then also 20 years later, you get to walk around the same neighborhoods and go, wow, look at that. We planted 50 trees around here, and now they're all giants. So, Carol wanted to offer something. And Carol, are you ready to do that?
I think so.
Great.
You guys have been inspiring me. So I have a couple of things. The first is just Jesse's bead tree reminded me that many, many years ago, someone gifted me with this. It's mounted on a on a rock, so it's quite heavy. And Jesse, you may know how it's made. I mean, I don't know what this is. I've just always loved it. So, but it's been sitting quietly until you brought yours out. And I went, oh my God, I gotta go get my tree and give it some love. So that's that tree. So thank you. Also, whoops, I live on 9.56, not quite 10 acres of mostly Columbia River bottom land, which means that last week it was flooding, and the week before 8 inches of snow, and now we're back to normalcy, and it's beautiful. So I've been here this will be 48 years, and I've planted many different kinds of trees. But in this crazy weather we've just had, my favorite blue plum tree came down. Just completely, I didn't know when it happened, but when I looked, I saw it was down. And I don't know, I'm thinking maybe if I cut it off and prop up, maybe I haven't been able to see where the roots are because it's such a mess up there. But so I've been gathering energy, good energy for my trees. The story I wanted to tell you was that in 2007, we had a black box theater called the River Theater, beautiful little theater. And it closed that year. But the last or next to last play that we did was called 9 Parts of Desire. It was written by an Iraqi American woman. And there were 8 parts and the narrator. And in the production that she did, including in Portland, it was a one-woman show, which is phenomenal because we did it with different actors. My part was Rada, the mother of Rada. And it's heavy stuff, bomb shelter, death, etc. Some of the other parts were much lighter. It was a beautiful heavy-duty production. Well, we have a local artist who's now 82, although she passes for 70. And she created a way of making art when she lived in Spain. It's molding as well as painting. And for this show, she hung outside in the lobby, small place, some of her creations. So during the rehearsals, every time I would see these pieces. And finally, I could stand it no more. And so I purchased this piece. And the story is that the artist in the play, and this is a true story, painted women. But because this was Iraq, she could not paint women uncovered. And so she made the women into trees, and their husbands and family never knew. And that's what the play was about. And in the end, her home was bombed and she was killed. I can't come up with her name right now, but if you look up 9 Parts of Desire, you will find it. And so this piece became part of my life, 2007, and it's been hanging over my bed. I just went upstairs and got it because it gives me so many messages. So definitely a tree of life. And the woman, the artist who made this is Terry Remington here in Astoria. My story.
Thank you, Carol. That was fantastic. I really and I put a link in the chat
Beautiful.
to the 9 Parts of Desire book.
Yeah, there are 2, actually, ironically, there are 2 9 Parts of Desire. One is this play, and the other is a book that was written by a Wall Street journalist woman, author. So I'm not sure which, this may be the book rather than the play, but if you're interested, you can keep looking and find it. maybe I'll see. It's way up there on my shelf where I get it.
Well, and also thank you for zooming in from Astoria. It's nice to have people from different areas zooming in, and I've been spending more time in your area over the last couple of years. I've got a few different friends there, and I've got a friend in Iwako, so
Oh,
I
really?
know exactly where you are. And I have a friend who
Anybody?
sells at your market, at your
Okay. The
yeah,
Sunday market. Is,
exactly.
do you know anybody from radio?
I'm sorry, say again.
Our community radio station,
Oh my
sister.
God. That
The
is
gate.
that is the most amazing radio station I think I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a couple of shows on that.
Oh, fantastic. That's a real, I
Yeah,
mean, we have community radio in Portland, KBOO, but
yeah,
that station really is something in terms of just capturing what's going on around that area. And I've heard some amazing shows from that station.
yeah. Well, I have played Michelle Alani, and long ago I played Rob Tobias too.
Well, good. Fantastic. Here's
And
a
a
little,
folk.
we're having a reunion then.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tape Mike Oxman up on his offer to share with us next. And come on, Mike.
Howdy, friends. I'm Michael Oxman. I'm an arborist, and I lived in Grants Pass from 1985 to about 2000. So I'm familiar with a couple trees around Portland, and there's one down near the Oregon Public Broadcasting headquarters that is called the Revolution Oak. And that is an oak tree that was nominated as part of a list of heritage trees nationwide by the International Society of Arboriculture and the National Arborist Association back in 1976 for the bicentennial of the Declaration of Independence. And I guess everybody knows that I can see the people on here are about my age. So you remember when Lee Iacocca took up a collection to spruce up the Statue of Liberty and things. Well, we were looking for trees. And then I guess everybody knows that, the American Revolution started in 1776, but then the war ended and the Constitution was signed in 1787. So it was the Revolutionary War lasted 11 years. George Washington had to do all that stuff. And out west, there were a lot of trees that were not associated with the United States government. And one of them was the world's tallest ponderosa pine tree, which is in Grants Pass, where I live, raised my kids. And so we started taking nominations for trees that were alive at the time of the signing of the US Constitution. So I put a link in the chat where you can go and read the story from the Smithsonian blog about this 250-foot tall tree and how it kind of shares the history of the people of the country. The plants and the people live side by side. And we take a lot of our inspiration from these trees. And hopefully we will help the trees. There's another thing too. There's a Facebook group called We Keep Trees Standing in Portland. So I am going to put up another link that should inspire you people, because we just had a major win in Seattle with the publication of this editorial in the Seattle Times newspaper that Seattle must take care of its trees. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Albert. I guess I'm out of time. I thought you were waving at me to shut up.
No, this is a signal that means I'm cheering you.
Oh, okay. Well, I can be rather long-winded. However, I would like to invite everybody to come over to my Facebook page. And I have a lot of Facebook pages. I'm kind of a bootleg Facebooker. I've got one, my favorite one is called Old Growth Tree Climbing. And because I'm originally from California, before I was in Grants Pass, I was an old redwood climber. And so that has me living in the past. It's really hard to top redwood climbing with your life experiences. So I hang around with these climbers. So last summer, I went down to the Yosemite neighborhood, and we did some sequoia dendron tree climbing. And uh, the, um, the result was a 4K video that's 10 minutes long. And I'm going to put that right down here in the chat. And this is kind of for entertainment, because the climbers that are up in these trees did this amazing thing. They shot a rope from one tree to another, 230 feet above the ground, and they strung a rope across there. And 3 of these climbers spent 2 nights sleeping in hammocks out on that uh, high line. So there is just so much going on with big old trees. And there are so many fantastic trees in Portland. Go down to Willamette Park at the Oregon Public Broadcasting headquarters. Look at that Revolution oak. It's oozing with history. And if somebody could please do me a favor and report back onto me whether the plaque is still there. The ISA issued this bronze plaque. So there you go. We equate the history of our forests with our own human history, and that's culture. So trees are culture, and arboriculture is where it's at. So thanks to everybody that came by on this wonderful holiday to celebrate the contribution that trees make in enriching our lives. And I'm going to mute myself. And if anybody wants to surf over to treedoctor.com, you're welcome to, TREEDR.com. Or if you're on Instagram, you can go to TREE_DR. Or if you're driving around Seattle and you see a truck with my license plate, TREEDR, just honk at me gently. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bravo.
Michael, that's all fantastic. If you want to put your information in the chat, that would be fantastic. I did link to your Facebook page that you mentioned, Facebook group, the one for climbing trees. We might need you down here. Well, and you also mentioned a video that you were suggesting, Michael, and I was thinking of possibly showing that. If you would like to include the link into the chat, I will possibly bring that up. And did anyone else want to take a turn at presenting a song or speaking some words? Feel free to raise your hand or throw something towards me. I'll probably sing a song next, unless anyone else wants to go. All right.
Well, go ahead. I would do one more before I leave. I'm gonna take off before too long. But if you want to sing one, you should.
You'll like this one, Rob. Why don't I sing one, then you can do one.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay. This is a song by my buddy Ben Bachner. He's been coming up a lot today. Hard times are coming. You can feel it in the air. You can read it in the paper. You can see it everywhere. Gonna be trials and tribulations, astonishment and shock. You're gonna need a strong foundation, need a solid rock. And the chorus is like this. Everybody can probably pick it up. We gotta hold on to each other, hold on strong. We gotta hold on to each other until the danger's done. We gotta hold on to each other all night long. We gotta hold on to each other, got to hold on. Well, it's easy to get lonely, yeah, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to get crumpled up, towed away and tossed. Don't let yourself get isolated, don't get caught up in despair. Don't run and hide, just come inside. You know you'll find us there. Chorus. We gotta hold on to each other, hold on strong. We gotta hold on to each other until the danger's gone. We gotta hold on to each other all night long. We gotta hold on to each other. Got to hold on. Well, even the tallest tree in the forest can't make it on its own. You're gonna need some friends around you when that wind begins a blowing. It's gonna shake up all of our branches. It's gonna tug on all of our roots till the only thing left standing is love that's great and true. We gotta hold on to each other, hold on strong. We gotta hold on to each other till the danger's gone. We gotta hold on to each other all night long. We gotta hold on to each other, got to hold on. We gotta hold on to each other, got to hold on. We gotta hold on to each other, got to hold on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yay.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Even the tallest tree in the forest can't make it on its own. You're going to need some friends around you when the wind begins a blowing. It's going to shake up all our branches. It's going to tug on all of our roots till the only thing left standing is the love that's great and true.
Beautiful.
There you go.
He wrote some good ones.
Is your shirt, Albert? Is your shirt rounds of cut wood or what?
It's actually a shirt from Africa, and a lot of different people have different interpretations. Some see flowers. I like the rounds of wood idea, sure.
Okay.
So, Rob, you want to take us out with or on with one?
Well, this is Lawrence Cole song.
Hey, if you hold on a second, I'll pull up the lyrics or I'll put them in the chat for people.
You know the song I'm going to sing, I guess, yeah. Trees grow slow and trees grow strong and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long. Trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and the fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. Trees grow slow and trees grow strong and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long. Trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and the fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. One more time round, because it's such a sweet song, and I know there's probably more to it because Lawrence writes these layered things, but just this much of it gets me. Trees grow slow and trees grow strong and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long. Trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and the fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. Yes, the fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, Rob. Thank you.
Yeah, just
Lovely.
So
just
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Can we
Beautiful.
add to Lawrence's last line? Those fallen trees, in addition to feeding the seeds, they also keep a lot of us warm, because that's how I heat my house. is with those
Yes.
fallen trees.
Yes.
Thank you to the trees and their beauty and their life and in their gift of warmth.
Well put, Carol. Well, I am going to say thank you all so much for being here tonight. And we've had a nice time thinking about trees and celebrating Tu B'Shvat together and thinking about ways that we can be a part of um, the canopy and keeping the canopy standing. And just, it's been really lovely hearing the music. And if you feel like donating to any of the groups that I've listed in the chat, the Portland Fruit Tree Project, Trees for Oregon, Trees for Life Oregon, and Friends of Trees. And I'll just say a little bit about Trees for Life Oregon because they're one that you may not have heard of before. But they are a group that is gathering together um, to learn about the tree code and to really dig into what goes on sort of on the legislative and policy level in Portland. And they're made up of a group of really smart people. If you are a smart person and you're looking to have an impact on the whole city at once, they are a great group to be a part of. And then you've got Friends of Trees, which does all of the planting of street trees, and they involve youth, and they have a budget and they have a staff, and it's quite an organization. And then there's the Portland Fruit Tree Project, which is involved in caring for planting and nurturing Portland's fruit trees so that people have a way to access fruit. A lot of the fruit goes to the Portland Food Bank and other food banks in the area. And so they're a fantastic group. And I would say could really use the donations, and they could also use just people knowing about them and participating. The other two groups, I think, are up and running and are doing quite well in that respect. So with that, I'm going to pause the recording. Thanks for coming again.